So in some ways this was a confluence of both the development of our interest in research and research for the third sector, and the recognition by the British Library of the importance of developing more specialist collections and making those collections available and useful. This is of interest and should be of use to anyone interested in research on a third sector, but we ask you to identify yourself as either a third sector, a government or an academic or research user. It doesn't matter if you don't do this, actually, you can still get into the portal, but this is the beginning of us trying to gather some information about who uses the portal. We haven't wanted to make it too off-putting to access the portal and start asking you questions about your age and your shoe size before you can start looking for any material, but obviously as part of our development work, it will be really useful for us to know who uses the portal, what they use it for, whether they're having problems with it or not. And so in time, we may develop ways in which we can gather more information about users. But this is the beginning of us getting a little bit of information from you about the kind of user you are. So at least if you're able to provide us with that information, that would be helpful. Then that will get you through to the Knowledge Portal, and the home page looks like this. And I won't tell you about all the various functions on this home page, but actually it allows you to do a number of different things, including access more information about how to use the portal, ask questions of us, and indeed contact us. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner there, there's an email address which will take you through to Pete if you've got queries that you want to raise with us. But just to give you an idea of how it might work, then, supposing you were interested in, and it's interesting, John raised this morning, supposing you've heard this word Tescoisation. People have been talking about Tescoisation in the third sector. Has anybody done any work on that? So you type Tescoisation into the search bar there. And you press the button, and what it tells you is that there are no exact matches for Tescoisation. In other words, nobody's done any research on Tescoisation, and that could be the end of the story for you, but of course it's not. Just because people haven't put Tescoisation in the title of the paper that they've written doesn't mean that there isn't research material about it. And what the Knowledge Portal does is it suggests to you related keywords, and it does that through a thesaurus which we've developed, which is a list of key terms which are used to identify searches and to help to guide your search through to the material in the portal. So it's suggesting to you that you might be interested in income concentration. If you're interested in Tescoisation, you might be interested in income concentration, if I could say it. And for that, there are 7 hits. In other words, at the moment, and these are early days, there'll be more, there are 7 entries for income Tescoisation. So you press through, and here are the results for the first 1 to 7, or in this case, in the case of this screen, the first 3 results. And first of them is one of the papers that John was talking about this morning. In fact, this one's Peter's paper on concentration of income amongst charities, TSRC working paper. It also has identified a chapter in a book there. The book itself is not called Income Concentration. It's about non-profit marketing. But there's a chapter in that book that we've identified either directly ourselves or through references that other people have made that deals with the issue of income concentration. And it's also identified a speech by Ian Duncan Smith. And as John was saying, to some extent, it's speeches by Ian Duncan Smith that put the term Tescoisation into the debate about income concentration. So you can also access Ian Duncan Smith's speech there. There too. So what you're getting there are a number of different, that's just a flavour of the different kind of resources that you can get to. And obviously I can't do this here now, but if you then click on those links, certainly, for example, if you clicked on the top link there, the trends in concentration of income amongst charities, that would take you straight through to the TSRC working paper, which, as I explained this morning, are open on free access. So you'd be able to read it as a PDF and download it onto your machine if you wanted to do so. And quite a lot of this material, obviously, these days is available electronically, either as a PDF or as a link to a website. And one of the things that the portal will do, of course, because we house all these on our server, is it will be a way of saving and preserving links and PDFs which might otherwise be at risk. And I'll come back in a minute to the importance of us doing that. What we are doing here is preserving, not just making accessible these online links and PDFs, but also preserving them for future use. Not everything in the library is available electronically, of course. Some things are only available in paper. If they're available in paper, they should be here in the British Library, and what it'll also do is provide you with a link to where you can find the material in the British Library and explain how you can access it, and you can do all that through the portal website. In some cases, it'll take you to academic journal articles because, of course, academic journal articles are an important source of research, source of information about academic research activity. Not all academic journal articles are freely available to all users, of course, because there's a subscription behind the journal. They're a commercial venture. And in some cases, if you don't have a subscription, or if you're not in an institution like a university where there's a subscription in the library, you may be asked to pay to access the full copy of an academic journal article. There's obviously nothing we can do about that. They're copyright protected, and the owners of those copyrights are not going to allow us to give away the journal articles. But if you're in a university or another institution with a subscription, it'll take you through and you will be able to access it directly there. Our intention is to be inclusive, to include as much material as we can that's relevant and that goes through some kind of quality threshold. I mean, in the case of academic journals, for example, we know they're peer-reviewed, so we know that they've reached a quality threshold. But we put up the material that we put up. We do a check that it is research and that it's useful and proper research. But in particular, what we want to do, and to some extent we're moving now towards phase 2 and phase 3 of the Knowledge Portal, having established the infrastructure and having got a basic, the functionality all working and material in it, we now want to start incorporating into the portal considerably more material. We'll do that by uploading individual items and using our volunteers to do that. But we also want to work with partners who've got existing collections that we can incorporate either directly by including them on block into the portal, or that we can develop a relationship where we sort of pick and choose from it, or they pick and choose what they want to give us, or we could simply send a link to it if partners don't want to give up their collection, but they're prepared for portal users to have a link to it. So we're now beginning the phase of talking to partners about how we can engage with you and include your material into the portal. This really is the beginning. I mean, it's felt like the end of the beginning for us to actually get it going now, but now it's the beginning. Here now is an infrastructure and a resource. We want to make that resource bigger, better and more useful. We welcome your feedback on your use of it and suggestions for how we might develop it. We welcome suggestions for partnership and for joining the portal and for moving material into it. And we hope that you'll find it as useful as we think you will, and we hope that you will help us to make it useful to a wide range of research users. It's only been made possible because of the collaboration with the British Library and the support of BIG. So let me finish by once again thanking the British Library, including Jude and Jenny, for their work with us, and Peter and all of those at BIG who've made all this possible. I hope you'll find that the investment has been worth the effort. Thank you.